let's do a fun one. I know you've been waiting to see how we do the cool effect that I had demonstrated on the header. So let's go ahead and do that together. All right, so let's find our header rule set, the header selector, and the rule set that goes with it. Right now, all we have on that is margin of 0, okay? So let's start by setting the background image. We haven't gotten to do that before. We've done background color, but never background image. So background dash image, colon, and then this one's a little funky. We say URL, okay? Where is that file? And then we need to put in the file name and path. So remember, to get the file path, we need to find which folder it's in. It's in an images folder, all lowercase, / and then we're going to use the banner.jpg image. Let's refresh that and see what happens. That. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so what we're getting is a view of the header and the H1 inside of the header. And we're seeing that there's almost no padding around this. There is some margin around the H1, so we're going to need to play with that a little bit. And then that image isn't taking, it's not like naturally centering itself in the space. Like, look over here, right? It's only taking up as much space as it takes up, right? So it's kind of dictated by some of the stuff that's around it. So we're going to need to manipulate a few other things to make this cool. First of all, let's go ahead and add some padding to our H1. So I'm going to go to header H1, find that rule set, and let's get inside of it and add a new rule. So I'm going to start by setting the margin of this to 0 pixels. I don't want this white space that's at the top and bottom. That's what's causing it. The H1 naturally has some white space above and below it. So let's turn that off using our margin tool, and now you can see that those are shoved together. I'll look at it in the big one. There we go. So there's no space there. It's starting to look cooler. Then let's also add padding. Remember that padding is like inside of the box, between the box and the stuff that's in it. We're putting some padding in there. So I'm going to add padding, and I'm going to specifically add my padding to the top of this box, and it's 250 pixels. I'm going to push this down a little bit. This doesn't look exactly like I want it to yet, but it's getting there. So let me refresh it. So it pushed it down a little bit, and now I'm starting to be able to see my image, okay? I also am starting to see that this color of font is not going to work for my heading. So I'm going to go ahead and change that too. So in the header H1, I'm going to go in and change the color, and let's grab our cream color. Okay, are you seeing this concept of repetition, how we're reusing our different colors and other elements so that we get a sense of consistency? Okay, so now we've got this lighter color. There's not enough contrast now, but it'll be fixed later. And that's starting to look better than it did before. All right, so we're done with the H1. We've got the right font family. We've aligned it to the center. It's big enough. We've taken away that annoying white space, pushed the text down, and added a different color. But now let's go up and finish our header. We're not done here yet. We've added the background image, but it needs some more information. First of all, how big should it be? So background size. And we're going to use something called cover, which means please just cover whatever space you have available to you. Okay, so if I refresh that, now we're seeing it's like it's taking up more space. It looks a little bit better. And then the second thing we're going to do is background position. And that is going to be set to center. So whatever amount of space you have to fill it, and also center yourself in that space. That's what we're doing with those two commands. Okay, so now you're seeing that it's actually centering itself in the space. One more to get this to look super cool. And then we're also going to add a final height attribute to help this sucker out. So background dash attachment. Okay, so we can make elements either fixed to their background or not fixed or even floating over the tops of backgrounds. It can be really cool. So we're going to fix. So we're going to say background attachment is fixed. And then just to make it awesome, let's go ahead and add this min height, meaning I never want this header to ever get smaller than 500 pixels. I want it to always be that big. So let me refresh. Now you'll see that my words are more centered in the image. And if I refresh over on the big one, look at that. That's looking really good with the placement of those words. Now we've got some great contrast in there. Okay, and now the piece de resistance that you guys have been waiting for. When you scroll, all we needed was that position or the attachment to be fixed to get this cool, it's called parallax scrolling. So that cool effect now that we've got in our site. And if we resize it, my image stays centered, my words stay centered, right? If I make this smaller, you can see it's starting to look more like an app. Everything's kind of piling up in there. So we're doing this cool responsive design, guys. Great job with this. Okay, so that's literally all it took to get our header image looking awesome like that. Let's go ahead and finish up our footer. There's just a little bit more to do in there to make it look awesome now that we've got a little bit more experience. So scroll to the bottom of your styles, find your footer. And what we're going to do is just add a little bit of space in there. So we played with padding at the top. Let's play with padding at the bottom. So let's add a padding property. I'm going to do 2EM. Yes, I'm mixing my pixels and EMs and stuff like that just so that you get comfortable with it. 2EM, so remember 1EM is our standard font size. And our standard font size is 16 pixels. That's the default for paragraph text. So 2EM would be 36 pixels of padding all the way around, okay? And this is inside of the box. So let's see what happens there. Okay, I'm going to show you the old one. Here's our old footer. Let's take a look now, refresh, and look at the new footer. So it's taking up some space. There's room around these items. There's that 36 pixels of space on the top and bottom. It's on the sides too, but we don't really care because it's all filled with that green color. Okay, so that padding has made the footer now look complete. And now we have this beautiful header image that we can use the parallax scrolling on. Very, very cool.